All right, a thread from Carlos Osuita for Tim Pool. You honestly don't know the difference between the accusations made against Donald Trump and those made against Joe Biden? You said that Trump either doesn't care or doesn't believe the accusations. Speaking for myself, I don't believe the accusations for two reasons. There was never any form of accusation made, despite Trump being in the public eye for decades. And two, Gloria Allred. Every single Gloria Allred press conference is scripted down to a subatomic level. Gloria comes out and reads a statement. The accuser reads a statement. The accuser begins to cry. Gloria cuddles the accuser. The accuser bravely finishes. I've been watching Gloria do this for 25 years. It's always exactly the same. Gloria demanded that Michael Richards pay a fine for using the N-word, and she's a lawyer. It's illegal to fine people for using racial epithets. So, it's very simple. I don't believe any woman that Gloria Allred represents. Guess where we are now in the leftist-dominated legal system? Quote, "We found no evidence that he did not commit crimes," end quote. That's Robert Mueller. That, my friend, Tim Pool, is Venezuela. A special counsel is tasked with finding evidence of crimes committed. That's all. Imagine if you were investigated after somebody accused you of cannibalism and the cops said, "We found no evidence that Tim Pool is not a cannibal." Can anyone on the planet prove that they're not cannibals? Therefore, the rule of thumb is simple. When leftists make accusations, I don't believe them. They did this. They perverted the entire justice system. Now, why do I believe the accusations made against Biden? Because there is endless video of him being a pervert in front of the world, proudly, fearlessly. The reason you, my friend Tim, don't understand Trump is that you never researched him. I researched the absolute hell out of the man. He's a student of the Chinese military strategists Sun Tzu, The Art of War, and Wang Jingze, The 36 Stratagems. Even a man as brilliant as Victor Davis Hanson doesn't understand Trump's tweets. But I do. Feign madness, but keep your balance. Hide behind the mask of a fool, a drunk, or a madman to create confusion about your intentions and motivations. Lure your opponent into underestimating your ability until, overconfident, he drops his guard. Then you may attack. Wang Jingze, The 36 Stratagems, Chapter 5, Proximate Stratagems. Once I understood Trump, I relaxed. Trump is a delegator. What I've done is delegate politics to him. I trust him to do the job. Trump has delegated astonishing authority to Vice President Pence, Jared Kushner, and Ivanka Trump. They're delivering. And how? I keep hearing you say that Trump is bombastic and a potty mouth, a term no man should ever use. It reminds me of my fifth grade teachers in Tyler, Texas, 1972. Women with enormous, swinging bags of flesh on the bottoms of their upper arms. I was fascinated by the ways those bags of flesh swung as the teacher wrote on the chalkboard. It mesmerized the whole class into behaving. I'm older now than they were then. I've got 23 years on you, Sonny. I've never used the term potty mouth in my life. Here's the deal with Trump. Nothing is as it seems. He prepared for his presidency for decades. Just look at this profile in the New York Times from 1984. I've got an archived version of that that'll be linked in the description. People misuse the term conspiracy theory. They think it means any outlandish idea. QAnon is not a conspiracy theory. I don't for a second believe Q, but there's no conspiring, a word with a specific meaning. Two or more people planning a crime. A conspiracy is a plan made by two or more people to commit a crime. Therefore, QAnon is not a conspiracy theory. But I have a wacky theory about Trump. At some point, his businesses became a front for his plan to become president and fix the world. Nobody has ever prepared for as long as he did. As soon as he was elected, he began contacting world leaders, openly this time. I research everything. Trump's known the House of Saud personally since 1980 at the latest. You keep harping on Trump's Middle East policy, Tim. That's because you know nothing about it. See, the Saudis only pretended to embrace that extremely strict form of Islam. They did it in 1979 after Islamists nearly took over the country. But the Saudis had a secret weapon, hidden in plain sight. They educated massive numbers of people abroad. Tons of Saudis are bilingual. They speak English that's indistinguishable from the English spoken by Americans. There was a very long-term plan. I never got on board with the endless criticism of Islam. It's incredibly counterproductive for several reasons. Middle Easterners value face, and we in the West have 90 billion tons of historical baggage. Westerners were demanding things that could never happen. The House of Saud is doing something of unprecedented brilliance. I'll give you an example. Now, female religious scholars are allowed to issue fatwas. A male religious scholar explained it, quote, "As women enter the workforce in Saudi Arabia, we need female religious scholars to guide them in order to fight against anti-Islamic ideas and Western notions that don't belong here." Did you catch what he did there? Women working was once prohibited by religious strictures. So the Saudis are using misdirection. They skipped over the previous prohibitions and changed the subject to fighting pernicious Western notions. Absolute genius. Like magicians. It's the same with the notorious video about how to properly beat your wife. Nobody understood what he was doing. He was saying you can't beat your wife, but he misdirected. This is a transition period. They themselves are setting the timetable. People have to learn to keep their damn mouths shut. The Saudis allowed both movies and movie studios in one day. It's like the Trump administration revolutionizing the way we deal with pandemics, and all they get in response is mindless bitching. This is everybody. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And you keep saying, I'm not perfect. What has that got to do with anything? Who's expecting you to be perfect? Some cranky 5-year-old? I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but I saw a guy with a giant beer gut and a long beard getting out of his pickup. He was playing Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit on his sound system at top volume. I thought, why does that fat old guy like Nirvana? And I remember the song came out in 1991, 30 years ago. That guy was the perfect age for being an original Nirvana fan. Imagine that. My favorite rock song is 44 years old. I remember buying it new and being in total wonder. For Your Life, Led Zeppelin. Time is measured before it's begun, slips away like running water. It sure do. And time's a-wastin', Timbo. Never use the phrase potty mouth again. It makes me shudder in sympathetic mortification. The end.